Welcome back to our last candidates race. This one is for position 5 for the Richland School Board. And we have 3 candidates. That's all that's on the ballot, and they're all here, so this shouldn't be confusing, hopefully. They are, starting on my right, Jeffrey Dennison, Phyllis Strickler, and Brett Amidon. And as with all the other races, they'll start with an opening, and we're starting with Jeffrey, and he has 1.5 minutes.
Well, thank you. My name is Jeff Dennison, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, and I'm glad to be here tonight, and I wanted to say that I'm honored to be here with all these qualified candidates that we've both heard from the City Council and for the school board. I was born in Mountain View, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley, and so I kind of see things a little bit differently. I was raised with the Silicon Valley mindset, and I also say dude, buddy, and bro a lot, and so that's just the California in me that can't get out. I moved here to Washington State about 6 years ago, and I love Washington State. I don't take envy in my California friends that are suffering in such bad economy there, but I am truly grateful to be here in Washington State and to be in Richland. Now I have a child in White Bluffs Elementary School. He's going to be in 2nd grade next year, and I have another child that's going to be in White Bluffs in a couple years. And I've had a great experience so far at White Bluffs, and I'm looking to be involved in the future management of the school board and to be involved with my children's future and for all the children's future in the Richland School District. I've volunteered in the White Bluffs classroom with my child. I also volunteered for a program called the Dictionary Project in the Yakima Valley, where I delivered dictionaries to tribal schools and taught children how to use those dictionaries, and I got an award from the Association of Washington Businesses for that. I've worked for multiple Fortune 500 companies in Washington State and through California, and I wanted to bring my focus on financial management and sound policies and classroom achievement to the Richland School District.
Thank you, and we'll now hear from Phyllis Strickler.
Thank you. I want to thank those who are co-sponsoring this forum. I think it's very valuable to have. I was raised in Richland, graduated from Columbia High School, now known as Richland High School. Moved away, got a PhD, taught for a number of years, returned to Richland, got married, had a family, and shortly thereafter we began becoming very interested in what's happening in the schools. I have been very pleased to have had the opportunity to serve the community by being on the school board. We have had and continue to have student learning as a high focus, an important focus, and probably the most important focus for the school district. We continue to make strides in student learning through interventions for those who are struggling with a program called Response to Intervention. And we have been providing challenges for those who are excelling. And we've already heard some discussion tonight about Delta High School, which is a fairly new innovation. We have Rivers Edge High School, and we have HomeLink, which is just a couple of years now been on the program. And those are exciting alternative settings for many students taking advantage of them. We have increased technological opportunities for communications to get more information about the school district and for communication with the school board and the district. And I would always invite you to call if you have questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll finish up with Brett Amidon.
Yes, I also went to school in Richland. I went on the first Camp Wooten trip at Jason Lee, and I also was the last 9th grade graduating class at Chief Joe before they moved that over and closed it, which I thought was for good, but apparently not. These experiences, I had great teachers through high school. They really shaped me, and I was very blessed to be at Richland High School, and I know Hanford's just as well. I developed skills to succeed in college and the workforce. From there. I loved math and teaching from those experiences. I decided to get my degree in statistics, and so I have degrees in statistics, and I spent the last 14 years at the National Lab as a statistician research scientist, and I spent the last 10 years as an adjunct faculty member at CBC, and then also currently at WSU Tri-Cities. I have 3 children in the district and another one that just graduated from Richland High School. I have a vested interest in these schools, and I'd love to see them continue to succeed. My wife and I have volunteered many capacities within the school and the community. I'd like to see accomplishments in focusing more on the math and sciences and relying more on our scientific community. We've got a great community here. Good thought-provoking books added to the curriculum by those that have read those books that are in question. Transparency by the school board. Pressure on the state legislature to stop budget cuts. And innovative ideas. I've solved many problems in the work that I do, and I'd love to take that to the school board and to the school level.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on with the question and answer portion. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to answer this next question because I'm going to combine two. Somebody wants to know what specific things would you do as a school board member to help with the current budget problems, and with the current anti-tax mood in the country, and there are layoffs expected at Hanford in this coming fall, are you worried that the next levy may not pass in Richland? And I know throughout all the states, I think in the last election, I don't think any of the bonds that were proposed within our state passed. And they have a higher requirement, but many of them were even below the 50%. So let's see, we are starting with Mr. Dennison.
Can I paraphrase the question? It was, what would I do about the budget situation, and then also with the anti-tax and issue across the country and
layoffs? Are you worried that
okay.
the levy might not pass?
Thanks. I want to make sure it's clear
And
about that.
We'll give him 2 minutes, Carol.
Sure. The budget situation is terrible. I worked in Olympia as a lobbyist for Sprint Nextel, and I saw that the army of people that came to Olympia every day asking for one of two things: give me money or don't cut my program. And so we need to have a very strong relationship with our legislators here locally to make sure that they are fighting for our dollars. I understand that we're in a minority party in a sense here, and that the governor is in a different party than our local elected officials, and so we need to engender that trust and communication with our elected leaders to make sure that those cuts are a priority or not a priority, so they do not cut those things from us. In regard to the anti-tax movement across the country, boy, that is something that really needs to be addressed locally. The Prosser schools have failed their local initiatives, I think, 4 times in a row. Part of that is the communication and the trust that they have to have with your community. If the community doesn't think that your money is going to be spent wisely, they're not going to vote for your bond or your levy. You have to make sure that you have communicated effectively, and you've communicated over and over and through different methods to catch all those people and to show them that you are going to be able to spend their money wisely for the benefit of the community.
Okay. Ms. Strickler, yeah, you're second.
Okay. Certainly there are big budget problems across the country. The state and federal budgets have been in disarray. Fortunately, however, the district budget is not in disarray. We've had good management, we've been conservative, and we will need to continue to do that. We've set our priorities in trying to get the most out of every dollar that we spend. We do have some reserves that we've tried to build up to take us over hard times, and we will be dipping into some of those as we go this next year. If things continue to get worse, we're certainly going to have a lot of collaboration with our employees. Everybody's going to have to work a little harder, maybe for less. I don't know if you're aware, the state legislature sent on to the district a 1.9% cut for the teachers that we have in the district, and yet that's all under contract, and so essentially what they did was take all that money from the district and then left it for us to figure out how we're going to absorb that money, because they also said we can't furlough teachers, we have to keep them in the classroom 180 days. So there have been lots of problems, and a lot of it is coming from the state and the federal government. Am I worried about the levy? The levy is certainly a problem in that it comes up every 2 years. We need to continue to remember that this is not a new levy. Each 2 years it expires, and so then we renew it. And that's what we will be trying to do this winter. We will renew the existing levy that we have. And as we do that, we'll do our best to balance what the needs of the district are with the economic realities of the citizens.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll finish with Mr. Amidon.
Yeah, concerning the levy, I do think that we can pass it, but it's going to require a lot of work, as we see in this community. We do need to sell it the right way. Definitely talking about it being a renewal and such. But yeah, I think it's definitely possible. We need to do a good job with that. With respect to the budget, you know, I think we need to, for one thing, we need to hold the state legislature. We need to hold their feet to the fire on this. You know, all of them say they're pro-education. Never heard one that said they weren't. But are they? You know, we need to hold their feet to the fire on that. As for what can I do personally, one thing that I plan to do, I noticed as I studied up about this position is that they're willing to pay me to serve on the school board, $50 per meeting that I go to, which I didn't understand that was a necessity really, but I can waive that. But what I'd like to do instead is to take that money and redirect it using an award and recognition program for our teachers, but to do it such that the students are the ones that are writing in and making those things, and being able to award those teachers that really deserve our respect and deserve a little bit more, and to also get the community businesses to help out with that. If we can have them match those dollars, that'd be great. And so those are the type of things. I think we need innovative ideas like that to help us reduce our costs, but also find other ways to improve our educational experiences for the teachers and our students.
Okay, thank you. We'll begin our next question with you, Ms. Strickler. And you might be able to explain this in case not everyone in the audience knows. And if she does, we can give her a little extra time. What is your position on professional learning communities?
Okay. Professional learning communities, for just as kind of a background, are set up so that there's a little time taken out of the day. Usually, this last year we had a pilot program running where the union actually gave us some of their time and the district gave some time, so that there was time at the end of the day on Wednesdays for the teachers in groups, say the language arts teachers at the high schools or the third grade teachers in an elementary school, to get together and collaborate, talk about perhaps things that are really going well for them, what one teacher might be doing that he or she could share with another teacher. Sometimes at the high school they talk about end of course tests, or they look at their schedules so that they're synchronized throughout their department. This year we hope to continue that. I'm not sure I remember the rest of the question here. But they're really a time for the teachers to get together to collaborate and to, by doing that, improve their teaching and their opportunities for the students.
Okay, thank you. Let me check my list here. Mr. Amidon, you're next.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely for learning communities. When I got out of college, I was a statistician, and I went to a job where I was the only statistician, and that had its challenges, and had a lot to learn, not many people around me to learn from. I since have moved on to the national lab where there's 30, 40 statisticians, which some people might think that's scary, but I think it's a great opportunity to learn from, and I have. I've learned great things, and it's been very beneficial. So I can see that it would be very helpful to be able to have those type of opportunities for teachers to be able to do those type of things.
Okay, good. And we'll finish up with Mr. Dennison.
Thanks. Of course, I'm in favor of collaboration and mentoring. Those are vital for teamworks and for people to succeed as teams. Silos do not work. one person doing one job and not aware of what anybody else is doing, and nobody else aware of what they're doing. That's never a recipe for success. Teams break down barriers and help creativity for all people to succeed. So I'm for all that collaboration and mentoring.
Okay. And we'll move on to the third question, and we will begin with Mr. Amidon. Often a school board only hears from citizens or parents when they are unhappy. Would you assume parents who you do not hear from are happy with the district? And how do you balance the opinions of the vocal with those from whom you do not hear?
Well, that's definitely not the case. I mean, you definitely hear from the people that are upset. And I know occasionally you hear from the people that are happy. And, you know, I think it's important to be able to encourage feedback on all fronts. You know, I get feedback. I've got my kids in school, and they talk to me about what's going on, and so I get feedback from that. But I've had feedback from neighbors and such, especially as I've taken this opportunity to make this run. But I think it's very important that we get feedback from our community, both positive and negative, and we need to be transparent in that. We also need to forward that through the proper channels. You know, those teachers that are doing a great job, we need to make sure that they know they're appreciated, and we need to find ways to make sure that that's done.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to Mr. Dennison.
Well, as Dr. Phil says, where there's people, there's a problem. But in all reality, I wouldn't presume to think that anybody who isn't speaking is exactly happy. You never know what they're thinking and what they're in their mind. A lot of people like to brood. I know that there's a lot of married men out there that know what I'm talking about. The key, though, for keeping people, the key for people to be happy with your decisions, or at least informed, is that engagement. So even when there aren't key decisions, budget, books, all these other things that are happening, is to keep people engaged over a course of time. That helps them have a personal engagement and value system and attachment to the school board, to their children, to their taxpayer dollars, to the schools. So keeping them engaged, newsletters, emails, all those sort of things, over and over and over again. That's the key.
Thank you. And Ms. Strickler.
I'm not sure I can add a lot to what has already been said. Certainly, if you don't hear from someone, it doesn't mean that they're happy. And if they're very upset, they're likely to let you know. But if they're just moderately upset, they, as Jeff said, might be just brooding over things. And I agree that the key is communication and transparency, getting information out there through websites, Focus Magazine, at the grocery store when you meet people, walking down the street, whatever, and actively solicit from the people that you know their comments and questions. Another thing that we do at the beginning of our regular school board meetings during the school year is we have kind of a celebration time where some type of program or achievement is brought forth and highlighted so that we can acknowledge the teachers and the students who have done a great job in certain areas. And that often brings out lots of parents in support and is, you know, a high five, good job done, and I think a very positive thing to do.
Okay, thank you. I don't think we're ready for our next, so we can keep you up here and just keep asking you guys questions. But I'll make you just answer one more. And let's see, we'll go back to the beginning and start with you, Mr. Dennison. How would you characterize the district's relations with the REA or the teachers union? Can you give a specific example that illustrates that characterization?
No, I can't characterize their relationship, although I've been involved with the unions and in many different capacities throughout my life, and I know that, of course, the key to a good relationship with management and union is the communication, the open access, being truly open door to ideas and partnering. And I'm hopeful that that would be some of the characteristics that I would want to have as a relationship with the unions.
Thank you. Ms. Strickler?
Yeah. I think we have quite a good relationship with our Richland Education Association. We work hard to maintain that, to communicate regularly with them. We have regularly scheduled meetings between the superintendent and usually one school board member with the union president, where they can touch base and kind of talk about things that might be coming up. Negotiations are always kind of a sticky wicket, but again, I think with our own REA, our relationships have been quite positive. Sometimes I wonder if they are so as positive with some of the things that come down from the state to the local folks. But they're the ones that kind of have to deal with that, so we would only get those things secondhand.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Amidon?
Yeah, my brother-in-law is a teacher at Chief Joe, so I do hear a little bit about this. We have dinner usually once a week, and so we've had some discussions about this, and I know there's a lot of respect between the two. You know, I know that Dr. Busey is working with the unions, and I have full confidence in his ability to do so. But still, when there's budget cuts and when there's these issues going on, I'm sure not everybody's happy, and you know, so we have to be respectful in that matter in our communications, and understand that not everybody's going to be happy about these things, but we should try to find creative solutions and be able to help out where we can.
Okay, thank you. We will let you give your closing statements, and I'll try and remember to include all three of you. And we're going to go in reverse order, and we'll begin with Brett Amidon,
Okay.
starting over here.
Okay. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, this great forum that we have to be able to do this. For you for listening, either on TV or here personally. I look forward to serving in this community. I love this community. I made a personal choice to come back to this community because of the great experience that I had as a child growing up. I wanted to have my children have that experience, and I think for the most part they have. So I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for the service that Phyllis has provided for our community, and the others also on the school board and also in political arenas. I've set up a website that shows my or details my look at my information, thoughts, and such, and that can be found at www.brett4rsb.com. I hope to use my experience in education as well as my background in my analytical decision making and problem solving that I've used in my profession to find creative solutions to the educational issues that we have today.
Thank you. And again, in the middle is Phyllis Strickler.
Well, I too would like to thank the co-sponsors of this event. Thank you for setting the forum up, and for those of you who've come, I think it's valuable to get information and to see who's running and learn more about what's going on in the schools. I have enjoyed being on the school board, and I consider it a privilege. And I want to thank all of you for that opportunity. And I would like to continue on the school board. I have the time to spend, the energy, the commitment, and at this point the experience to go with it, to conscientiously continue the duties of a school board member. And I would, of course, appreciate your support in this election cycle. Thank you.
Okay, and we will finish up with Mr. Jeffrey Dennison.
Leadership is not about titles and positions or flowcharts. Leadership is about one life influencing another life. And I'm running for school board because I want to influence the lives of my children and all the other children in the Richland School Board and the school district. And there are many issues in front of us, not just banning books or not banning books. And we have to worry about their decreasing budgets, boundary lines, having creativity and intelligent decisions that will benefit all the children and the employees for the Richland School District. So I'd be honored to get your vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll just quickly run down their names again. I'll start on this side. Brett Amidon, I'm sorry. Oh, it's the heat. I'll blame the heat. Phyllis Strickler and Jeffrey Dennison. And hopefully the turnout here tonight is a good omen. A lot of times auditors will predict less than 20% participation in primary elections, and that is a terrible number, especially when they mail you your ballot. So hopefully you will be a good citizen and lobby your friends and neighbors and other family members to be sure and get informed and vote in this election. I'm hoping you feel like you have hard choices to make between good candidates. I think that's always better than thinking, oh, geez, you know, which happens sometimes. But I think we have some great candidates, and that it will be a hard choice for you to decide on how you're going to vote. And with that, I want to thank you for coming and wish you well in this election.